Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm your host, Daily Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we are going to talk about how Democrats are potentially invading state GOPs right now and turning them into giant shit shows, why foreign nationals need banned completely from ever holding elected office in America at all, at any level. How there's a bunch of angel tree drama going on with the angel tree / giving trees that people do every year. We also got MS-13 known gang member Kilmar making the rounds again and basically waging war against America at this point, specifically the Trump administration. We also have, most recently, dipshit DeWine and the state GOP here in Ohio trying to now ban intoxicating hemp products from being sold out of literal cannabis shops. And some of the bullshit DeWine is now pushing for would literally make adult use illegal in this state, which is absolute crap, honestly. So, yeah, we'll talk about all that here in a couple minutes, what it is. Starting with, obviously, the DeWine hemp stuff. We'll go to more stuff first, and then we'll go talk about everything else after that's what it is there. So basically, last couple hours now, you had that idiot Kilmar guy, the one that's the known Venezuelan MS-13 gang member that was supposed to be back in either Venezuela or some other country now is what it is, in prison there, who apparently was brought back to U.S. soil because some piece of shit judge, who should be in prison themselves right now for literally aiding and abetting criminals, as well as high treason for that matter, decided to bring this asshole back to U.S. soil. And now you have this douchebag going on a whole tirade today where it was released MS-13 terrorist Kilmar Obrego Garcia, which is war against Trump administration, claiming, quote, "I will continue to fight against the injustices of this government," unquote. What a complete fucking asswipe, dude. What a complete fucking asshole. These people, I swear to God, dude. And then, of course, you got all the Somali terrorism and shit like that going on, and all the different fraud and everything else like that. So we have a fuckface piece of shit Rhino. Speaking of Rhino, governors here in Ohio. We got old dickless John Kasich, the same fuckbag who is personally responsible for why Ohio has a big-ass Somali population in it that it shouldn't have, because this fucking old jerk-off, when he was governor back in like 2010 or so, it was 2009 actually, under Obama's administration, literally was forced to take in a shitload of Somalis and did so. And this fucking cockstain has the audacity to come out today here and make this claim saying, Indiana did the right thing, saying no to partisan gerrymandering and yes to fair competition. This is how democracy should work, except for a constitutional republic, you dumb motherfucker. You actually took an oath to that, you cocksucker, and you fucking failed miserably at that. Said, not just in Indiana, but in every state. Let's play by the rules, be fair, and move our country forward. You're not playing by rules, fuckhead, when you literally have, it's like 8 or 10 different Democrat states right now that have 0 Republican Party chairs in them at all for Congress, even though they have like 30 to 50% people voting Republican in the states it is. How about, here's a wild idea. You give every single state 5 seats in Congress, and so that way there's no actual state that has to be, given the fucking go-ahead or given like a praiser by some political party during some presidential race to be like, oh, we need this one to win, this one to win, and this one to win, because every single one of them is the exact same then. And you can actually do this very easily with the 5-seat thing. You can literally have 4 seats in the ruralist part of the country of each state is what it is there. And then you have 1 seat in the major capital of every single state. And if a state has more than 1 major city in it, then you just have basically what I would consider to be a double, and this would be a thing with a lot of seats actually, whether it be here in Ohio, whether it be in Texas, etc. there, and it would essentially be, you would create essentially a double primary is what it is there, where you would have like an early primary in probably like January, February of the year or whatever then. And then you would have each one of the various major cities hold their thing for, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever the people want to go there, what it is there. And then anybody that are in that race for those parties, what it is then. Whoever wins that like little first primary thing there, what it is at a city level, then they move up to the state level to basically compete for the seat that would be in the major capital one is what it is then. And then everybody else would just compete in the other four is what it is there. And you would have to specifically live in whatever the district covers what it is then. Because that would be another way to stop these fuckheads from sitting there and being like, well, I live in Cleveland, I'm going to go represent like, Canton or some shit like that's what it is. And it's like, you don't live in Canton, fuckhead, so fuck off. And that's what I've always had a problem with people doing that shit. So it's like, yeah, you don't even live in the district to represent assholes, so fuck you. So, yeah, that'd be one way to fix a lot of our broken system right there is what it is by just downing the amount of politicians that exist right now is what it is then. And speaking of that, obviously, when you have literal state house races here in Ohio, where you have multiple Somali terrorists that have won these state house races because there's only nobody else in the fucking race to compete against them, these are seats that shouldn't exist in the first place. And this is why, honestly, in 2026, Ohio needs to become a one county, one rep state is what it is right now. We have 88 counties in the state of Ohio. We could easily have 88 members in our General Assembly instead of the 99 jackasses that are in our state house right now is what it is there. And if we did that correctly, what it would be is it would be one county, one rep, one senator for 4 counties. And so you can get rid of 11 people there too is what it is. So you go from 33 to 22 on that side. So you basically be able to down the General Assembly by like over 20 people right now and go from 132 to 110. This would also work very well in Pennsylvania specifically as well, because Pennsylvania is another one of these one county, one rep kind of states where you could actually have less people in the General Assembly because of the amount of counties in your state is what it is there. Because I want to say it's like 72 or something is what, I think it's like 72 or 74 counties. Or actually, it might be 67 counties now I think about it. In Pennsylvania, something like that, like 67 to 70 something, I think is what it is. But yeah, they have like 230 members in their fucking state house is what it is right now, which is absolutely insane. And that's because when you look at Pennsylvania of how crazily gerrymandered it's become over the last decade or two now, you have Democrats literally creating like a new congressional district like every 5 blocks in a major city there, which is obviously either Philadelphia or it's Pittsburgh. So, yeah, it's just absolutely insane what it is there. So anyway, but moving on to potential Democrats invading state GOPs, obviously. When you look at what they're putting up for governors now in a lot of these states, whether it be in Florida, whether it be here in Ohio, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, you got, like I said, a bunch of rhino sacks of shit here. Like dipshit DeWine, where you had the state Senate the other day under Rob McCauley. I think that's how I pronounce the guy's name. I could be wrong about how to pronounce the guy's last name, but first name was Rob, obviously. Which I believe this guy's one of the people that broke term limits last year, if I'm not mistaken, because he was termed out of the state house, what it is, and they flipped the state Senate chamber. And opposite that, you had Matt Hoffman, who was termed out of the state Senate and flipped over to the state house, and another one of these one-horse races that he should have just been kicked out of the General Assembly entire is what it is there, because this entire congressional seat shouldn't exist what it is then at a state level. But anyway, these 3 assholes, the 2 of those douchebags, and then DeWine himself, have now been trying to attack weed rights is what it is ever since the weed amendment passed 2 years ago now. And you got DeWine here saying he will sign new cannabis bill that adds penalties for some adult use. Says Governor DeWine said on Thursday he plans to sign the new cannabis bill that would make adjustments to Ohio's recreational cannabis use laws, including new legal charges for things like improper transportation. This is how I think they're also going to fuck over gun rights quite a bit right now is what it is, dude. Said voters legalized the adult use marijuana in 2023, and that will not change under the new law, Senate Bill 56. The bill does, however, include various new restrictions that Ohioans might not be expecting. Says DeWine said he will sign the bill because of, quote, young people, even though opponents say the legislator and the governor are chipping away at marijuana rights. The majority of Ohioans supported the ballot box. They are, by the way. And what I think is absolute bullshit is the whole, like, oh, we got to protect the children thing. It's like, okay, here's a wild fucking idea then. Go after people who are actually doing the shit then, dude. If you have like, let's say, I don't know, like 5 vape shops in the state that are selling, CBD gummies to kids without ID and stuff like that, I don't know, maybe fine them or even jail these people and put them out of fucking business is what it is then. You don't take out the 150 to 300 other ones that are still good to go, man. Literally, you do not take out the majority of the ones because there's like 2 or 3 fucking bad apples in the bunch is what it is there. You rip out the fucking bad apples, you toss them in the garbage, and then you eat the rest of the fucking apples in the bushels, what it is then, buddy. It's just common sense, honestly. So you got 1 or 2 bad ones. It's like, seriously, you can make an analogy with fruit right now. You got, a bag of tangerines, and you got 2 or 3 rotten ones in it. You toss out the rotten ones, you can still eat like most of that bag of what it is, dude. They're still good to roll. So it's just a bunch of shit, honestly. I know that for a fact, too, by the way, because I was actually in a vape shop today that sells CBD gummies, because I need to get some more, obviously, because all the shit going around now, because of my fucking bad back and my... specifically, I got sciatica issues now is what it is because of my back. And so I'll probably take one of these every so often is what it is for that now. And yeah, these people were like, the guy was ringing me out. And if I had known it was going to be cheaper than it was, I would have got a couple more bags of these, honestly. Because the chick's like, oh, they're 30% off right now because they're trying to break out their inventory enough to like get rid of it before this shit goes into places it doesn't, I think. And it's just sad and disgusting, honestly, because again, you have what looked like a young couple, honestly, in there running a good, vape shop place or whatever that is now going to be probably put out of business or have like most of their business basically restricted because fucking Governor Dickhead, who's like 80 fucking years old or something, wants to be a complete asscock again. I just want to point out too, DeWine should have removed back in 2020, 2021 when he was trying to pull all the COVID shit that would have put us under 440 days of tyranny. Before we're finally reopened as a state under that piece of shit Amy Acton as the health director he put in place there, who's now turning for governor as well next year is what it is there. It's absolutely fucking disgusting, dude. And of course, dipshit DeWine had the audacity to claim his quote, "My concern has been with kids. We have kids who eat gummy bears. And the hemp, the people who have promoted this hemp, it was originally designed normal hemp to not be... It was originally designed... However he fucking said this sounds retarded, honestly. It was originally designed... Normal hemp is not... It should be in its original design. Normal hemp is not very high in THC. By definition, it's not. So what they've done is taken a loophole in the law, and they've used the hemp, and then they've juiced it up, basically, and now it's, it skirts the law with no regulation on advertising. So this is finally, they're doing that, so this is a good thing. My God, this motherfucker has dementia, I swear to God, bro. I just want to point something out, bro. So I'm just going to grab a bag right now. It's sitting right here. Produced in California, by the way. I want to point that out. Santa Ana, California, specifically, is where these Space Gods gummies come from. 300 milligrams of THC and CBD in 10 gummies. They're 30 a piece is what it is. They got 15 milligrams of THC, 15 milligrams of CBD. There is no hemp in these at all, specifically. But it is interesting because when you look at the bottom of the package, it says hemp-derived gummy candy. But then when you actually look at the back of the packaging, there is... Where's that here now? Yeah, specifically right here. Warning label. 21 plus. Not safe for kids, old man. It's so fucking stupid, dude. Like, you really have to be over 21 to buy these, dude. Again, you have a problem with the DeWine, go after the fucking shops who are selling underage kids is what it is, bro. don't be putting everybody else out of business. It's actually following the fucking law. It's so fucking dumb, dude. Yeah, I heard about the CRS thing. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Like, I mean, it's good for gun rights, obviously, in the long run, but, like, the dude was, like, openly fucking around his channel, what it was there, like, trying to basically get himself in trouble. And, like, even everything that the other guy did with him is, like, there was some shitty shit going on there for sure. They were definitely trying to, like, skirt laws is what it is or something. So, anyway. But, yeah, DeWine's just a fucking moron. That's what it is, dude, for real. He's an old idiot. He has no fucking clue what the hell he's talking about. And that's really the problem with the General Assembly right now is what it is. It's run by two old men in DeWine and Huffman who are, like, 60 plus. And then you have that Rob guy who's, like, I think in his late 40s, early 50s, something like that. So it's just a bunch of shit, honestly, dude. Anyway, continuing on here, it said, originally introduced in January, Senate Bill 56 received significant pushback, with opponents arguing the bill encroaches on voter-approved cannabis laws, because it fucking does. The issue I have right there, too, and this is really what I've talked about since the whole marijuana bill passed in 2023, the issue with the entire thing is that they never had enough votes to get it passed as an actual constitutional amendment. Like, it really should have been like Article 1, Section 22, or Article 1, Section 23, something like that, of our state constitution. But because it didn't have enough actual people on the ballot signatures to put it on there as that thing, they had to put it on the ballot as a specific statute, is what it was. And the problem with the statute is that you can then have the General Assembly, which is run by a bunch of goddamn rhino pieces of shit, go in there and fuck around with it, just like we did here with the Senate Bill 56 back in January, where they introduced some bullshit bill to basically be like, oh, we don't like how the original thing that was a statute was written, so we're going to go fuck over your rights now, is what it is. So, and the real stupid thing is, this is why I kind of think that Democrats are basically taking over the state GOP, is what it is, because only a bunch of fucking retarded morons who are up for re-election in literally 5 months from now, I think these will be primaried out of power right now, is what it is, I think it's a good idea to do this shit in the year leading up to an election cycle instead of doing it after an election. Like, it's nonsense, is what it is, dude, for real. I mean, DeWine doesn't care, obviously, because he's, termed out right now, is what it is. But I guarantee it's going to fuck whoever's running for governor right now, is what it is, would be that idiot Vivek, obviously. And good, I hope it does. I hope it fucks over Vivek completely, is what it is, dude. So, anyway. But yeah, I was talking about opponents saying it's crushing on marijuana laws, because it is. This is after months of debate, House approved changes to the bill on November 19th, sending it to the Senate on Tuesday for a vote. So those in favor of the bill, mainly Republicans, aka rhino sacks of shit, argued Senate Bill 56 still maintain the crux of Ohioans' approved cannabis legislation, which was an absolute fucking lie from piece of shit Steve Huffman, who is the literal first cousin of Matt Huffman. Celebrated the bill with new protections like prohibiting advertising towards children while continuing to allow recreational use in Ohio. First of all, dude, pretty fucking sure that people ain't advertising to kids in the first place. Because again, like I said, let's go back to 21 and over, buddy boy. And the fact of the matter is, dude, like, I love when they say kids, but what they really mean is like teenagers, what they're talking about, honestly. It's people that are like anywhere from like 14 to 17, 18, something like that, what it is there. And it's like, who gives a shit if they want a fucking gummy, dude? Like, I honestly really have one of the kids. Shit, man, my niece is like 12 almost right now. I'd rather have her eating one of these than fucking drinking a bunch of beer and shit and destroying her liver that way, is what it is. I think the real problem is, and I believe this is the truth right now, I think the real reason they're targeting this shit right now is what it is because when you start looking at it, they specifically know that big alcohol in this state, as well as big pharmaceutical company drugs, are in trouble because of this stuff. And it's taken away their market shares that happen to support a bunch of these sacks of shit for re-elections and stuff like that, and to their donor bases in many cases. And so they're basically doing it to keep money in their coffers, what it is then. And it's just completely misuse for personal gains, what it is there. 100% across the board right now. So, interestingly, though, it says Democrats, however, argue the bill's restrictions on marijuana use and possession are tantamount to recriminalization and run counter to the wishes of Ohio voters. And it's sad that I'm actually kind of with the Democrats on this one. Although, to be fair, these are the same Democrats that would fuck over your gun rights in a second if they want to. So, it's just fucking dumb entirely is what it is, dude. This is why, honestly, and this is what I've talked about before, I'm going to talk about it again right now. I think 2026 needs to become the year that the Ohio state government gets abolished completely. That's what it is right now. Which can easily be done right now. We have Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution that allows us to completely abolish state government. In order to start that petition to get it done, though, you would need to have 1,000 people that are registered voters all sign on to a petition, have their names put on the signatures and stuff like that, and that particular document would then have to be taken to the AG's office. And then it would have to be approved by the state AG to be considered to be a ballot issue at some point in the future. It'd probably be like May of this year or November of... not May of this year. It would be May of 2026, or it would be November 2026, most likely would be my guess for the earliest it can be on there. That's what it is. And then you basically have X amount of time then to go to 44 different counties and gather enough signatures of whatever. I think it's 10%, 20%, whatever it is, the last election cycle. And if you can get that many signatures on the petition, potentially, then that would be approved. You could then submit that to the, I believe it is, Secretary of State's office for the ballot board is what it is then. And then the ballot board potentially approve it. And then it could actually be on the ballot as a constitutional amendment, what it is then, the state constitution. That would be Article 1, Section 23 and that would specifically have language in there about abolishing this, or just taking out a few seats, what it is then for that matter. It wouldn't have to be potentially the whole General Assembly. It would basically be, you take out the Senate President, you take out the Speaker of the House, and you take out the governor's office in those three specific roles, and specifically name the people that are in those positions right now, which would be obviously Mike DeWine, Matt Huffman, and Rob McCauley. And then those three guys going away. Well, actually, I would probably name about 10 more other people honestly besides that, though. Specifically Steve Huffman, too. And then if you got rid of these, X amount of dudes or whatever it is then, and then the rhino bitches for the mayor, too, you could easily have a better state government. That's what it would be then. But I think, honestly, a total abolition of the government right now, where the whole thing just gets wiped out in one shot, though, would be a much better statement then, because you could also take out all the dipshit Democrats that are trying to fuck with gun rights and stuff like that as well for the last 5 years or so now. So, yeah, it would basically be killing two birds with one stone, and you would have all these pieces of shit that should not be in power anyway finally be kicked out of power as what it is there. So, anyways. But continuing back on with the rest of this article, besides Democrats saying recriminalization, other stuff, then we got old Senate President Rob McCauley himself claiming, I think it's a little bit of exaggeration or hyperbole of Democratic objections. Ohioans voted for safe, tested, legal marijuana sold through regulated dispensaries, and so that's what's protected in this bill. It's not really changing at all, except it is jackass. It said we need to make sure that the back office functions of the program work better, and that we have protections in place for children and for the industry as well. So the biggest problem I have with that is, it's basically, what you're basically telling people is that you're not going to have anybody be able to actually buy the stuff as what it is then, except for the people you want to buy is what it is then. And I guarantee you, mark my fucking words right now, if this is actually able to go through without lawsuits and stuff like that, which I'm right now at the fucking forefront where I'm about to try to file a lawsuit on this shit too, for that matter, to stop it from going into place then. Because I guarantee you, when you start looking into dispensaries and stuff like that in the state of Ohio that card you, make sure to check your ID and stuff like that. I guarantee they're going to make a fucking list of people and they're going to start taking people's lists, and they're going to start first off by going to people that actually have CCW licenses in this state that may be weed users and stuff like that. They're going to fuck with their rights first, and then they're going to fuck with anybody else's rights that could be a gun owner using 4473s. So there's no way they're not going to do some backdoor gun control shit what it is using this stuff. And that is why I'm so against it right now is what it is, dude. So, anyway, continuing to say, Rob also said the restrictions such as prohibiting the public smoking of weed or requiring Ohioans to keep legally purchased marijuana in its original packaging will not, quote, be heavily penalized. Yeah, right, buddy. But it's not really a decision legislators can make. So, yeah, the problem I have with that, though, is, like, I'm fine with them, you know, like, this shouldn't be a thing anyways, what it is. If you're going to sit there and smoke a joint in public, dude, fuck you anyway, because not everybody wants to get high around you, retard. So that shouldn't have been in that original bill anyway, in my opinion. But the fact of saying it should be its original packaging, okay, but, like, so are you talking about, like, if you're buying a dispensary in, like, a little capsule, like, it's supposed to be kept in that then? Or are you talking about something like this where it's like CBD gummies being in their original packaging versus me just taking these, throwing them in a, you know, plastic baggie or whatever? Like, it just seems dumb, honestly, at that point. Like, really fucking stupid, honestly. So, yeah, it's like a bunch of nonsense, honestly, what comes on the being. Let's see. So, if DeWine signs bill, it would bring new legal concerns for some users. One change could stop Ohioans from using gummies or edibles in public spaces in, quote, threat of minor misdemeanor charge. Current law treats smoking cannabis in public similarly to smoking tobacco products, so it can only be permissible on private property with permission. Senate Bill 56. Ohioans would be prohibited from knowingly consuming any adult-use marijuana in a public space. Senate Bill 56 also says no public places can accommodate medical marijuana use by smoking, combustion, or vaping. Yeah, good luck enforcing that shit, by the way. It says, quote, the legislator can set the penalties and set the degree of misdemeanor, but then I would question, like, what's the point, right? Capital University law professor Robert Bernhardt said, if you're not going to penalize people, it's almost like, well, we're not really concerned about this, then what's the point of doing it? Yeah, exactly. What's the point of doing it in the first place? What it is there, man. So it may be left to law enforcement and prosecutors to decide how aggressively to pursue charges against people caught violating the restrictions contained in SB 56. Most violators would face misdemeanor charges without the likelihood of jail sentence. Quote, it's almost like a mass hustling. It just gives law enforcement the opportunity to write tickets and bring people into court, then make them pay money to make them pay court costs and fines, Bernhardt said. Exactly, dude. It's all fucking cash grab, what it is, dude. Anyway, it says Lou Tubin, exec director of the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association, testified in support of SB 56. He says that even with these restrictions, the law still preserves the essence of what Ohioans voted for in 2023. Bull fucking shit, you asshole. Douchebag claimed this was marketed to people as regulating marijuana the way alcohol is regulated, and I think SB 56 does that. No, it fucking doesn't. As long as people are using marijuana within the confines of Senate Bill 56, they're not going to have any problems with law enforcement. In 2023, 57% of Ohio voters approved medical weed, and sales began August 2024. So yeah, it's just them fucking with our rights is what it is, dude. I'm so sick and tired of it. Like, I really am. I'm just so fucking sick and tired of people across the board now what it is, dude. So... So I had to go call out Casey underneath the official moniker on X there. Somebody just texted me something. Oh, like I was getting back to me. Trying to figure out the hell was on my phone there, and then I just realized it was I got some scratches earlier today when I was at the Wally World there. And of course I actually won on one of them. Good old $4. So unfortunately I bought 5 of them, so I'm actually $1 in the hole on that one. So, but at least I got a win, is what it is. Hopefully that'll be a bigger win tomorrow because I bought a Powerball 2. I think that's in the several hundred million or billion now, if I'm not mistaken. So that'd be fucking cool to be a billionaire, or at least a multi-millionaire anyway. But only time will tell on that one. So, but yeah, basically Kasich is a great example of why foreign nationals need to be banned from holding public office in this country. And it's a bunch of shit, honestly, they're not right now. Then, of course, we got the whole Angel Tree thing, because I've never seen that stuff. That Lindy Glenn woman did a pretty good analysis of it yesterday or the day before that, I think is what it was. And it was basically how you have these people. We have like 3 sets of people right now. You have the people that are buying these various like Angel Tree, Giving Tree gifts for kids and stuff like that are influencers and stuff like that who have a bunch of disposable income, and they can go buy $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 worth of shit is what it is for these kids. Then you have the second set of people, which are the everyday people that are just trying to get a kid like something extra that's like $25, $30, $40 whatever it is there, and can't afford a $500 or $600 Nintendo Switch or PS5 or electric scooter or some Ugg boots or whatever it is for these kids. When you have all these scumbag ass parents allowing their teenage kids to do that stuff in the first place, and obviously they know Santa doesn't exist as what it is right now. And then you have these entitled motherfuckers who are either returning the stuff that are doing gifts, and these companies are allowing them to be returned at their stores, which is fucking ridiculous because they don't have any receipt to show that they're ever bought the stuff from you there, is what it is then. And yeah, you just have like this basically scumbag corporation shit is what it is right now. And these scumbag people that are, scamming the system is what it is right now, which I'm sorry to say, I mean, if you're having your 14, 15, 16-year-old kid or older for that matter doing a Giving Tree thing, and they're asking, as a teenager, it's going to be on that to begin with anyway, but they're asking for a $500 electric scooter, a PS5, $300 Ugg boots, whatever the case be, dude, go get a fucking job, child. Go get a McBurger job. Pay for that shit yourself, asshole. Like, seriously. So, or if you're younger than that, if you're like 12, 13, whatever it is, dude, and you obviously know Santa doesn't exist anymore, and they see people buying it for you then, here's a wild idea. Go get a fucking paper route. See what money from the paper route. Buy that shit at the end of the year for it, is what it is then. But of course, these kids want something for nothing, is what it is. These are the same generation, by the way, that are doing TikTok videos about, check out my EBT card, bro. And are actively skimming the system constantly, is what it is there. So, yeah, it's all a bunch of shit, honestly, dude. But, yeah, there's a lot of fuckery going on currently, is what it is right now. And then, of course, you got Trump versus the Somalis and everything like that. And you basically have Somalian fraud being proven in Minnesota, where it's like pretty much everybody that's in that state right now, Somalian, is now stealing from the system somehow or another. And you obviously got dipshit Tim Walz coming out in the past day or so, being like, oh, we're going to import more of these fucking people into our country, is what it is. And it's like, the fuck we are, bitch. So I think the biggest problem that I personally have with Trump right now is the dude is not actively arresting Democrat governors that are openly committing high treason, whether it be Gavin Newsom, whether it be Tim Walz, whether it be Gretchen Whitmer, Kathy Hochul, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they've all openly committed high treason. They should all be in a federal prison cell right now, and they're not. And it's really time to either put down the fucking, like, smack down the hammer fist or fucking stomp down the boot and literally, line in the fucking sand is what it is, dude. It's a little shit to get off the fucking pot at this point, honestly. Like, I'd personally love to see what JD Vance would do if he was in the presidency right now, is what it is. Because I think he would put the fucking boot down, is what it is, on somebody's throat right now, is what it is, dude. Minimum needs to be high treason arrest right now, is what it is, dude, for these people. When you're openly defying and being a traitor in this country to import third world fucking trash, it shouldn't even be on this country soil at all. And you're actively acting like people where your voter bases and stuff like that now when they shouldn't have voting rights in this country ever, let alone be able to hold elected office for that matter. It's a bunch of bullshit all the way around is what it is, dude. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. And I think a lot of the Americans are too, and I think that's why we're seeing so much racist stuff happen now. Like, you got that Crystal woman from the Cinnabon thing the other day being harassed by these fucking Somalis, and then she basically started dropping N-bombs on them, and then she got fired, and now she's like $100,000 for a GoFundMe or something. That's what it is there. I think the last I saw it was like $127,000 or something like that then. And now it's the goal for it is like $200 and something odd thousand dollars what it is right now. I was watching some Osmond Gold thing this morning, and there he was talking about on there. And I guess the original 157,000 or whatever it was, goal the person had set for this woman's Gibson GoFundMe, whatever it was there. And then the 200,000 something are both tied to, like, specifically Jewish people, and I believe it's the Holocaust, if I'm not mistaken. And it's basically like the Holocaust denier people and the numbers they've figured out or whatever it is there. So it's actually pretty disgusting stuff, dude, in general. But yeah, you'll always have people like that, is what it is there, dude. So I think at this point we all know that numbers are fudged for sure. But at the same time, like, if you're trying to deny the thing even happen at all, like, you're just a scumbag, is what it is, dude. Like, obviously it happened. It probably didn't happen the amount of numbers they claim it did, though, obviously. But, people should always be questioning history, is what it is anyway. Because, obviously, those who don't know, history is written by the winners. And, when history is written by the winners, it's the people that, can rewrite history, is what it is then. So, that's why I like to look at the, specifically for the original Civil War in this country, I really like to look back at the people that have done, like a family journal or whatever from somebody in that time period. And it's like great grandpappy, or it's like, great uncle or great great uncle, something like that. And it was this dude like writing letters and stuff home to his family, being like, "This is why I'm doing this," or whatever. And that actually tells a more interesting story about each side than is what it is that were involved in that, both North and the South, is what it is. And how it wasn't all exactly what they claim it was, and how some of this stuff, maybe it was a little bit about racism, but some of the other people, it wasn't about racism. It was about, protecting their crops, protecting their literal income, is what it is there. And it's interesting because when you start looking at the actual original American Civil War in this country, a lot of it very much was about states' rights, honestly. And I think right now that's why we're seeing a lot of this shit pop off again right now, is what it is, dude. And I think I'm surprised we haven't gone to a second Civil War in this country right now, is what it is right now. I could easily see 2026 something popping off during the summertime, springtime, something like that. Especially when you have the continued political assassination attempts on these people. You got, obviously, Charlie Kirk was already murdered. You had Tim Pool's place shot up recently. And I almost guarantee we're going to see political assassination attempts on political candidates this coming spring and stuff like that, dude. Whether it be for governor's races, whether it be for senatorial races, whatever it is there. Like, I would not be surprised in the least if we saw some, I forget what that one guy's name was, like Wallace, I think is what it was, or president back in the day. Back in the think it was after JFK was assassinated back in the 60s, so it would have been like LBJ was sworn as president. I think it was Governor Wallace, and I'm going to say Alabama's what it was then. Had trying to run for president then. He ended up, it was some dude that basically tried to assassinate him, is what it was then. I know they failed in the assassination attempt, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that dude did catch like a bullet or something and got fucked up for life a little bit then or something. So, kind of like how it was James Brady under Reagan ended up catching a bullet from Reagan's assassin at that time. And then it was, because of that, it was Brady being put into, I believe it was a coma, if I'm not mistaken, for like years of his life, what it was there. And then his family basically started the Brady campaign, which was later sold to Michael Bloomberg about, I want to say, give or take, maybe in the past 10 years or so is what it is now. And so when you look at all these anti-gun groups, whether it be the Brady campaign, whether it be Everytown, whether it be Moms Main Action, Students Main Action, all stuff like that, it's all under the Bloomberg moniker is what it is there. With the only outlier being Giffords, being run by Gabby Giffords, what it is there. So, anyway. That's about it for today, though. Yeah, it's time to fight back against tyranny in all facets of what it is, dude. And like I said, if anybody out there wants to help me basically get the stuff rolling to abolish state government next year, I think that's where we need to be right now. And at minimum, we need to also be looking at potentially May primaries and looking for candidates for all these people right now, whether it be Democrat or Republican, and start powering these motherfuckers out come next year what it is then. And if that can be a better accomplished thing then, an easier accomplished thing then, than simply abolishing the state government, by simply just changing it and having us be in there and having, actual constitutionalists be in the position of power is what it is then even better. But yeah, 2026 definitely needs to become a catalyst year is what it is, politically, and just, Americans at this point, honestly, coming together and working in unison to take back our country from a bunch of third world trash is what it is, dude. And forcing the hand of every single government at every single level to literally start kicking out any foreign national holding office in this country, whether it be people that are directly coming to this country as foreign nationals, like real Hanamar types, whether it be the anchor babies of Guatemalans, like that Ramirez, who's in office right now, who shouldn't be there at all is what it is right now, et cetera, or whether it be a bunch of Somali motherfuckers like Ismail Mohammed and Marina Abduli, who, specifically Abduli this week, decided it was a good fucking idea to try to put some bullshit legislation through to make halal food a requirement in the state of Ohio now. Fuck off back to Somalia, cunt, and don't ever come back to my fucking state or country ever again. And the same thing with you little bitch Ismail Mohammed, who's openly spoken in Somali dialect about how much you love Somalia, then take your fucking bitch ass back to Somalia, motherfucker. Because we don't want or need you here in the state of Ohio or in the country of the United States of America. Fuck off back to where you came from, motherfuckers. Or be fucked off back to where you came from. End of story. That being said, hope you all enjoyed this episode. I'll be back tomorrow for another Slicey Boy Saturday, hopefully. I don't know if I'll actually be able to do it on tomorrow afternoon or not, or if it might be Sunday afternoon. I'm not sure yet. But we'll do Slicey Boy something this weekend. Whether it be Saturday or Sunday, I'm not sure. So, till later. Hope you guys enjoyed this. As always be carrying, always be situationally aware, and always be ready to take out the threats in this country. Because there are way too many threats right now that our government is openly not dealing with, that we the people will probably have to deal with ourselves pretty soon. Starting with Islam. Till later. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying. And always be ready for anything. Especially various things that may be coming, whether it be terrorism, whether it be political assassination, etc., etc. But always be ready. Always be ready to protect your family. And always make sure that you are able to do so by any means necessary. Later, y'all. Stay safe. Peace out.